chief there. He's been a board member since 2002. We call that biblical. So he's been around for a while. He's currently our secretary for the board. You're welcome, Jim. He's going to present an LEPC overview.
Good morning.
Morning.
I've been around since about 1978. Back in 1978, we learned by what we call OJT, on-the-job training. There was very little planning, and we learned from the older guys. Does everybody remember the name Roll Call Indy? That is where all the right to know stuff came from. And prior to that, there was very little planning and very little information about what was in your neighborhood. So once Roll Call India came along, that set a lot of things in motion. And one of the things that came about is CERC, which is the State Emergency Response Commission. And through CERC, LEPC is, by Ohio Revised Code, here to do certain mandates. There are specified members to the board, and those members include at least one county commissioner, elected state, county, or township people, which would be trustees, mayors, safety directors, and so forth. Law enforcement, because between law enforcement and fire service, we're usually the first ones to get to the scene. So we have to be prepared in some way, shape, or form. Homeland Security and EMA, first aid, Red Cross. Health personnel, which is the hospitals and health departments. Local environmental, which could be your water resources and also EPA. Transportation, broadcast and print media, local community people, and the owners and operators of the facilities that are required to report to the LEPC. And this is all mandated by Ohio Revised Code. So our committee has to go through all these things in order to be able to put a plan on the table to prepare for anything that comes up. Members of the group are appointed for 2-year terms, and the LEPC has 3 officers. It has a chairperson, vice chairperson, and a secretary. The LEPC has bylaws which we constantly review and update. We have an established program to monitor and regulate facilities. That's why you folks that are in the industry that reports to us, that's why you do all this, because we take all this information in, and then out of that, we have to develop. It's not we may develop, we could develop, but we shall develop a plan. And that plan has to be reviewed and updated on an annual basis. So our group of all those people, which is broken down into subcommittees, meets on a regular basis. One of the fun sides of this, and from fire service and emergency response, is the exercises that we're mandated to put on. We have a tabletop exercise, which just involves some people coming in the room, and you actually sit down at the table and run an exercise from that. Functional exercise, which we're only required to meet certain requirements from. And then a full-scale exercise where, as we call it, we invite everybody to come out and play. This is where all the plans that are in your industries and the emergency response groups comes into play. And we take it out and we run with it and see what comes up. We're graded by our peers and also by the state. We have specific amount of requirements that we have to meet after that exercise. So this is an all-volunteer committee. This is what gets done on an annual basis. The other part we do is through grants and that, we provide training to the emergency responders. So that's pretty much what the LEPC does. Is there anybody that has any questions? I tried to give you a real condensed overview of it. There's a lot of Ohio requirements that reporting requirements and that we have to do on an annual basis.